Hello everyone and welcome to Geeks Not Nerds, the podcast. I'm Captain Logan.
And I'm Vince.
And today we're at the geekiest place we can think of.
A bar.
That's right, we're at a bar and we are having drinks and having chips and having a good time.
That's right. The good time's the tastiest part.
And today we're going to be talking about comics, per usual, and we're going to be talking about female superheroes.
All of them.
And the question that we'll be posing today is...
Renee Montoya.
The question. A female superhero, in fact. We're going to be talking about whether or not we think female superheroes on the whole are lame, and what we on the whole feel about how female superheroes have been, I almost said betrayed, wow, have been portrayed, and what we think of them. So Vince, what would you say is your favorite female superhero?
Sadly enough, I'm going to say two of them. The Invisible Woman.
No.
Fantastic Four.
Okay,
I love
really?
her. She's fantastic. And later portrayals of the Invisible Woman, we'll say. Earlier, not so much. And we'll get into that. But also, Spider-Girl.
I know you like Spider-Girl quite a bit. I haven't read a lot of her, and what I have read has been in recent Web of Spider-Man, and I haven't really cared for it so much. It's okay, but it's not great.
You know, the strength of Spider-Girl isn't so much super strength. No, the strength of Spider-Girl isn't so much that it's well written or that it's even really good, but it's a charming universe. It's something that makes sense. It's just easy to get into, and it's not something that's just so bad. I know it sounds like I'm reading something that's, garbage, but I'm like, I like it anyway.
Yeah, it's very high school, but I mean, then again, so was original Spider-Man. So.
Yeah, that's what I like it. It harkens back to original Spidey while being something unique from it.
Yeah, and it is pretty laid back and just fun, and that's good about it. I'd say my favorite probably is the Oracle. You know how much I like the Oracle, and original Batgirl, of course, being the same character.
Count.
Why is that?
Because she's in a wheelchair. She doesn't.
They just Barbara Gordon on the whole, then. And
okay, then we'll go with that.
And I like the Huntress quite a bit. There's not a whole lot of female superheroes in Marvel that I just love.
By the way, there's nothing against people in wheelchairs. I'm just saying, she's not going around the city.
You're just saying that it's hard to necessarily call her a superhero. Yeah, I mean, but, once a superhero, always a superhero, I say.
That's true.
But yeah, so I don't know. Let's just start naming some off and talk about which ones are rip-offs and which ones are originals. Because the problem, of course, and this has always been considered the big problem with female superheroes in comics, is that so many of them are just rip-offs of male counterparts. Why can't we have original female superheroes? The first real original one that wasn't a big rip-off was probably Wonder Woman, considering she goes all the way back to the early 40s.
Yeah. The thing about it is, and I know this isn't true, but this is the way I've always seen it, is Wonder Woman was sort of Superman's counterpart. Counterpart?
I absolutely agree with that.
I mean, she's very red, white, and blue, and she has superpowers, or at least she's come to have superpowers.
She's ageless. She's nearly invulnerable in a lot of ways. So,
with the exception of flying and some of the more ridiculous things Superman is capable of now, anyway.
There's places where Wonder Woman can fly, though. She has that ability sometimes.
You're right. That's a good point. The invisible jet is not there.
Right. Well, no, I'm not even talking about the invisible jet. I mean, I think sometimes she can just hover and get off the ground.
I mean, the invisible jet is not always used.
Right. Oh, I see. Yeah.
So, why is it canon?
Have you read much Wonder Woman? Are you much of a fan?
No. My biggest contact with Wonder Woman is in Identity Crisis.
Right.
And Jeff Johns' Teen Titans.
Oh, okay. I've not had a lot of experience with Wonder Woman outside of just, normal Justice League stories. And very often she seems to just be kind of there. You know what I mean? Where, not a whole lot is done with her. She's not a real developed character. She just, kind of like Superman sometimes, where she does the upright, moral thing, and usually she's a big proponent for women's rights, and that's about it. I don't get a lot from her.
I kind of think that Wonder Woman could.
No, I'm sorry. I don't think I've ever read a Wonder Woman title by herself, though. So that's not giving her a lot of credit.
The interesting thing I think about Wonder Woman is that judging from what I've seen, she's dramatically transformed as the ages go by. I mean, from David
True.
Haydu's book that I've recently consumed and recommended, they,
The 10-cent plague.
yeah. In that book, they talk about the creator of Wonder Woman using her as this way of putting sexual imagery into comic books via bondage. And that's really interesting.
Yeah.
But even when you look at her just personality, she's very much so an upstanding citizen, that type of one-dimensional character that you expect to see. However, in the Teen Titans run that I read with her in it, she is so stern and so cold and emotionless and just... You would think this person had no friend ever.
And it makes you kind of wonder why people are fans of her.
Yeah, you jump from one spot to the next, and if you haven't read the stuff in between, where the '60s feminism that came into play with Wonder Woman. I mean, she even dropped the red, white, and blue and just went to I think a black costume at some point.
No, I didn't know that.
She very much so changed her appearance, and it was all in a way. Man, I'm recalling a lot about Wonder Woman that I didn't realize I knew. Yeah. She's so different over the ages. It's almost like they can't put a finger on what she's supposed to be. It's like, I almost feel like they're trying to run away from Superman to some extent. Like, Superman's the big Boy Scout, so Wonder Woman's going to be kind of a mean person, to use a phrase that's not what I was going to say.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. And she's still got a massive fan base. I mean, she's one of those characters that's really stuck around. I mean, people definitely consider her to be one of the big iconic comic book characters, and
Yeah.
she's right up there with Superman and Batman.
And that's a big three, and I mean, even...
They're always treated that way, and they just did Trinity recently, and...
Yeah. Even in Identity Crisis, Brad Meltzer said that he wanted to use Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman as the icons, not necessarily the main characters.
Right. Well, let's go on to some of the others that really are kind of rip-offs, if you will, of their male counterparts. Only in the sense that there was a male version and then they felt like they had to do a female version to be politically correct, or just because they couldn't think of any original female characters. I think there's a lot of reasons this kind of thing happens. But, you get Batgirl, who managed to become a thing of her own.
Yeah. And there's Batwoman. I mean, just to name a few. Supergirl, Superwoman.
Right.
I mean,
Hawkgirl.
Yeah. They, Spider-Woman.
You want another drink right there?
No, I'm good.
No, thank you, sir.
Okay.
Appreciate
Leave
it.
that with you whenever you're ready.
Thank you
Thanks,
very much. This guy just brought us our check and asked us if we were okay, if you couldn't hear.
Interesting that we never got like a Aqua chick.
I think there was a woman who was, there was no Aqua Lass, I don't think there was an Aqua woman, but there was a woman that was essential and like right there next to Aquaman.
Well, Aquaman has a wife who I think is superpowered to an extent and stuff like that, but I'm not sure. I'm fuzzy on that. I've never been an Aquaman fan.
Oh, her name's Aquafina, I think.
Oh,
Madame Ching.
of course it is. Yep.
Yeah. Aqualad, Aquafina.
I really can't believe you said that. Let's see. Other things we have. I don't know. There's the female Speedy.
There is?
Yeah.
Oh, there is.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
Yep.
man.
Recently. There's, of course, now a female Question. So, I mean, there's been, characters that have passed the torch on to women. There's been female Robins.
True. You see, I think a lot of the thing is that women and teenagers are almost sidekicks sometimes.
Yeah.
They're put into this realm as if they're not nearly as strong as men. Now that's something I actually think we should address here.
Okay, go ahead.
Is that women and men, the largest people that are probably going to be fat people. No, the readers of comics are going to be predominantly men.
Of course.
And when they read a comic book that has heroism in it, what they're going to want to read is something that they will identify with, and they're going to want that strong male presence. Now, that's not to say that they couldn't appreciate the strong female presence, or even that there are no women reading comics. Of course, that's false.
Well, and especially these days, there are certainly more now than there used to be.
Oh, yeah.
But if you go back far enough, if you think about it, it's not entirely fair to just condemn male comic book writers for not having a lot of female superheroes, because after all, very often when men try to write women, it's easy to complain that they're not realistic.
Yeah. I mean, you're right what you know.